What if people are watching as you make your way? That's such a cool question. You know, it makes me think about the times in our history when man stepped foot on a new land that had never been conquered, had never been discovered. And see, they were making their way. And I just imagine this ship full of men getting off onto this shore with this giant jungle just right in front of them, and they just pull out their machetes and they start to chop and cut and tear down vines and cut down trees and just make their way through this forest as they discover new territory, a new land that had never been discovered before. Now, what's so significant about those watching is that even though they weren't there physically, the people on that ship were not the only one watching. The royalty, the king and the queen of their land, they were watching. Their mom, their dad, their sons, their brothers, they were watching. You know, the whole nation was watching as they sat with so much pride in those who have gone before them, just waiting to hear how they had discovered this new nation. You know, a great way to think about this is the Olympics. You know, there are so many people who watch as these Olympians make their way around that first lap of the track during the opening ceremonies, or make their way into history books. But you know, people are watching as they make their way. And so, what if people are watching as you make your way? Let me read this verse to you. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that so easily hinders our progress, and let us run with endurance the race that God has set before us. Now, I understand that everyone watching this video right now is not running that race, stripping off that sin and those things that so easily hinder us. But I would invite you to consider that as you make your way through life, people are watching. And so what does that mean? Well, if you're an older brother, that means that your younger brother's watching. If you're an older sister, that means your younger sister is watching. If you're a parent, that means your children are watching. And if you're all the above, that means everyone's watching. And so what if people are watching as you make your way? Well, you know what's so incredible about this verse? It's one of my favorite verses. And it actually, it enables me and empowers me to continue marching on in this walk with Jesus. Because I know that there have been millions of people who have gone before me that I can watch, that I can look at, that made the way, that made their way, that reached the goal. And so I can look at them and know that it's obtainable for me. And now I would just invite you to consider one last time that people are watching. In whatever way you make, what you communicate to those who are watching is that that's the way, and that's okay. Now the question is are you leading them? Is the way that you're walking going into darkness, or is the way that you're walking going into the light? And that's up to you. And so I'll ask you one more time. What if people are watching you make your way?